Cowboy T, San Francisco liberal with a gun. We're here to talk about the Lee Classic turret press. I've gotten a number of questions about it over the last several months, actually the last year or so since I've been talking about it. Why do I talk about it? Well, because it's a good all-around press. This video series is dedicated to Ammo Smith. Hi James, who did the initial review of it. This is basically a continuation of his work, so thanks for getting me started, Ammo. I have a bit of a confession to make, by the way. This is actually a reshoot of the first series that we did on the Classic Turret Press. I made a mistake, and so, well, I will admit to you that I made a mistake. So this time we're going to get it right. It was specifically regarding the safety prime. Those of you who have watched the first series probably know very well, because, well, some of you told me about it, and I realized it later, that this is actually the large primer for the safety prime, not the small one. I had gotten them backwards. Oops. So we're going to not only fix that here and tell you the right way to use this thing with the right one, we're also going to hopefully do a better job on this series. Well, let's get started. The Classic Turret Press is one in a series of presses by Lee Precision. Lee actually makes two presses. One is the original turret press, which is built on the Pro 1000's body, which we'll take a look at over here. This is my Pro 1000. However, it is also the same body physical structure for Lee's original turret press. All they did to turn it into a progressive was to add this thing called a shell plate holder assembly. Other than that, it's the same press basically. Well, there was a market for something beefier. Despite the fact that the original turret press does work, and does work well, people wanted a bigger, stronger version. So Lee came out with the so-called Classic Turret Press, which is a bit taller here, and has this cast iron body. This is a big, beefy, heavy press. You might not be able to tell that from it just sitting here like that, but it really is. If you take a look at the linkage here, it's fairly substantial. The ram is quite thick. One nice thing about it is this is an improvement on the original turret press. The primers all go, when the old primers get popped out, they go through the top here of this ram. Okay? What happens is this. Primer gets popped out through the decapper die and goes down to this little tube down here. Okay? That's one really nice feature about it. And you just empty the tube when it's full of primers. I'm going to have to do that pretty soon here, as you can see. So if we come around to this side, you will see more closely the various parts of the Classic Turret Press. What you have here is the turret full of dies. These happen to be 45 Colt dies. This here is the safety prime mechanism. It looks and acts a lot like a Pez dispenser. You can see this action here. Okay, that dispenses the primer. This is for the large primers, and you can tell that because it's the white one. The black one is for the small ones. Down here we have the shell plate, or excuse me, the shell holder. Excuse me. I've been on the Pro 1000 for a long time. So, standard, oops, let's try that again. Standard shell holder. Lyman, RCBS, Lee, whatever, will fit in there. And of course the press body. As you can see, and as I mentioned before, it is cast iron. I'm using a C-clamp over here and a couple of screws on the other side to hold it down. Any of those ways will work. There's no particular reason I'm using the C-clamp other than it was handy and I was out of screws. So, why the Classic Turret Press? Why not the original turret press? Well, if you have an original turret press, you're fine. However, if you're looking for one machine that really does pretty much everything, the Classic Turret is an excellent choice because it will handily do rifle or handgun. I have it currently set up, as I mentioned, for 45 Colt, and we will be changing that actually and doing some 38 special on it. Miss BHC, the camera lady. Hi, Miss BHC. has been using this press a lot, and she seems to like it.
It's really easy to use.
It is very, very friendly to not just the new user, but also the veteran user. Not that I would consider myself much of a veteran user, but again, even Amosmith likes it, and he's been doing this for, what, 20-something years? So that should tell you something right there. So in our next segment, we will show you how to set this thing up, basically from scratch, as if it were out of the box. See you soon.
San Francisco liberal with a gun.